those who have not attended the last session, it was a while ago, but what we did was we were doing that 1540 sloka through that lecture, the Grantharaja offering. But I just thought that it take much more time to complete it. So rather, I left it with the devotees to do individually uh, go through it, and any points they want to share, we can do that in our group. And in the meantime, we will continue with our sixth chapter because that is what is pending for a long time. So we started off with some 3-4 slokas. Since some of you might not be there, I am just we will just read the verse and the translation alone for the in the beginning, 161 onwards. So um, anybody who wants to recite the shloka can recite, and translation also devotees can read as per they want to do. Just start up reading. So who wants to go with the first shloka recitation? 161. Thank you, Prabhu. Please.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Shri Sutta Uvacha Evam Nishamya Bhagavan Devarshirjanma Karma Cha Bhuya Prapashyatam Brahman Vyasaha Satyavati Sutaha. Translation. Sutta said, O Brahmanas, thus hearing all about Sri Narada's birth and activities, Vyasadeva, the incarnation of God and son of Satyavati, inquired as follows.
Okay. Now the next one. You will read the next one. Who wants to read the next one? Translation.
I'll read, Prabhu.
Yes.
व्यासोवाच भिक्षुभिर्विप्रवसिते विज्ञानादेशृभिस्तव वर्तमानो वयस्याद्ये ततः किम् अकरोत् भवान्. Sri Vasudeva said, what did you, Narada, do after the departure of the great sages who had instructed you in scientific transcendental knowledge before the beginning of your present birth?
Okay, now this is a very important question. Let's read this purport also. The previous purport is also very important, but we will read this. We will read the continuity. We will do a summary of that as well.
Vyasadeva himself was the disciple of Naradaji, and therefore it was natural to be anxious to hear what Narada did after initiation from the spiritual masters. He wanted to follow in Narada's footsteps in order to attain to the same perfect stage of life. This desire to inquire from the spiritual master is an essential factor to the progressive path. This process is technically known as Saddharma Pricha.
Pricha means inquiries or questioning. Saddharma means questioning on the transcendental subject matter, that is on the Saddharma path. Now, see, this is something very interesting. But let's read the next two slokas and translation also, and then we will summarize until the point of Vyasudeva speaking. Let's read one by one. Anyone else wants to read the next sloka?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Shall I read, Prabhu?
Please, Mataji.
Swayambhuva kaya bhritya vartitam te param vaya katam chedam udashakshi kale prapte kalevaram. Translation. O son of Brahma, how did you pass your life after initiation, and how did you attain this body, having quit your old one in due course? Sri Narada Muni in his previous life was just an ordinary maid servant's son. So how he became so perfectly transformed into spiritual body of eternal life, bliss and knowledge is certainly important. See, Vyasadeva desired him to disclose the fact for everyone's satisfaction.
Thank you.
Hare
Mm.
Krishna.
Corresponds with the next one.
Can I read, Prabhu?
Sure, Mataji.
प्रकल्पविषयं एतं
Prakalpa.
प्राकल्पविषयं एतां स्मृति
Vishayam yetam.
विषयां
Prakalpa Vishayam yetam.
प्राकल्पविषयां एतां स्मृतिं ते मुनिसत्तम नाहि एष व्यवदातात् काला एष सर्व निराकृतिः. Translation: O great sage, time annihilates everything in due course. So, how is it that this subject matter, which happened prior to this day of Brahma, is still fresh in your memory, undisturbed by time?
Please read the purport also.
As spirit is not annihilated even after the annihilation of the material body, so also spiritual consciousness is not annihilated. Sri Narada developed this spiritual consciousness even when he heard his material body in the previous kalpa. Consciousness of the material body means spiritual consciousness expressed through the medium of a material body. This consciousness is inferior, destructible, and perverted. So, super consciousness of the supra mind is in the spiritual plane is as good as the spirit soul and is never annihilated.
Very interesting statement here. So, okay, now, what are the questions that Vyasadeva has asked till now? There are three shlokas that he is speaking. And in these three shlokas, what are the questions that Vyasadeva has asked?
What did you do after the sages left?
Ah,
So
what did you do after the great sages had departed? And then,
how did you spend your time after you took the initiation and how
Yeah,
did you get
yeah,
this body? Yeah.
that is two separate questions. How did you pass your life after initiation? What did you do after they left? How did you pass your life after initiation? So it is two questions here. First is immediately after the departure of the sages, what did you do? Huh? The second thing is the rest of his life after they had initiated you, but the rest of the life, the entire period, what did you do? Hmm? And then third question.
How do
How
you
did you get
remember
this body of
what
Narada?
happened in the previous
Sorry,
life?
sorry, one by one. 1 minute, not this one. Yeah, sorry about it. So what is the third question?
Third question is how did you attain the body of Narada, present body, after quitting the old body?
Yeah. Now this is the third question. And fourth question.
How do you remember what happened in the past, like before
How do you
annihilation?
still remember what happened in your previous life? Okay, these four questions, these beautiful questions that are asked. The rest of the chapter, Narada is going to give a story, but and also the answer to this question. Now, this is something which is very interesting and uh, nice and deep in a sense. See, always there is a curiosity to know uh, what did you do? What did we do after after getting something great? right? It is not enough just to obtain the grade. It's also important to uh, uh, how that thing has benefited us. Like I may tell that I have crores of rupees with me, but what did you do with it? What was the value? How did it benefit you? That is more important. I can say I am initiated by so and so Guru Maharaj. Okay, so fine, but how did it differentiate you from others? How you became someone unique? How did it help you? What I mean, what was something that is unique that you got? Did you make any progress in something unique which others have not got? If you are doing the same thing which everyone else has got, what is the difference between you and others? See, suppose I am saying that as a result of my initiation, I became a very rich person, very, very wealthy person. Someone else might have become even more wealthier just by their karma, on their own karma. So, their results of their past karma. So now, what is so great? I got initiation from a spiritual master. Ever since he initiated, my life has become so successful that I become so rich and so fame, name and fame. I got so famous person. Is material world. So is that anything useful for us by saying that I become materially very powerful, etc., etc. You should do
It's
something
not
different
beneficial.
than the. Sorry, yes. What is that, Mataji?
No, material benefits are not useful for our spiritual progress, Prabhu.
Not only that, but you are getting something different from what others are getting. Yeah. Your initiation, the spiritual initiation is meant for something which you cannot get by material opulences, right? By material opulence, one cannot become spiritually realized. Can anybody become that way? Can we become spiritually realized as that I am a spirit soul, I'm not this body by having lots and lots of money or wealth or name and fame? Can we do that? You may get frustration in life.
No, we cannot.
Right? You may get frustrations in life. You may get disappointments in life. You may say, I have got so much, but still I am not satisfied. Like Vyastev also wrote so many things, but still he was not satisfied. Right? So that can happen. But completeness or satisfaction in life will not happen as a result of material gains, material achievements. That is 100% sure about it. And when we are not content and satisfied and happy by the spiritual uh, initiation, right? Then we are also not uh, taking advantage of that spiritual initiation. We have not taken advantage of that. So Vyasadeva had seen Narad Muni to be very happy, content, and satisfied. He doesn't, unlike Vyasadeva, who even doing so many things, he was feeling despondent. Narad Muni was completely satisfied. He was completely content and happy, right? So normally, uh, when we are when we appear very content and happy, that's when people will start noticing you. But hey, this person seems to be very content and happy. What made him so happy? That is first, right? So many times when we used to do Harinam Sankirtan here and even in the Western world, um, in US and other places, people will come and say, "What you guys are doing that you are so appearing very joyful during this time? I mean, when you're chanting and all, what is it that you're getting?" That like that, people come and ask. We don't feel it that hey, I am doing something. I'm appearing something different. I'm appearing more happy than others. We don't feel it. It's just joyfully, just like a child, we're just dancing and going. But people notice that someone who has so much wealth, so much fame, name, etc., his happiness is not as good, as real a happiness as someone who is following this spiritual path. That is the most important thing that we should note. with the difference between spiritual consciousness exhibited through material body and spiritual consciousness exhibited through the spiritual medium, right? That is spiritual body. So now that is why Prabhupada is writing this beautiful purport here. So this is one of the reasons why Vyasadeva is asking these questions. Now you see the beauty of Narad Muni. He spoke about his past life in two halves. He spoke a bit about it till the Bhaktivedanta left the cottage, the ashram. Until that point only he spoke, and then he went back to philosophy. If you turn back to the verses, you just see he's telling 1, 5, 28, 29, 30, 31, and all. He's telling that I was very much attached to those sages, I was gentle in behavior, all my sins were eradicated, I had strong faith in them, I strictly followed their embodiment and all that. And then as they were leaving, those Bhaktivedantas were very kind to provide souls, instructed me that most confidential subject is instead of a personality body itself. So after this, he turns the subject to the philosophy again, answer to Vyasadev's question, right? Answer to Vyasadev's situation, being despondent. What is he saying, 31? By that knowledge, what happened to me? So he started explaining about the uh, uh, importance of Bhagavatam, etc. After that. So essentially, after verse number 30, he doesn't speak about his past story, past life. So Vyasadeva is a little bit curious. He built that curiosity in Vyasadeva, right? There is a break. Okay, you were a maidservant son. You are okay. You are getting the knowledge, etc. But something drastically changed. Suddenly, you become Narad Muni, and you didn't tell me what happened after the sages left. So something must have happened between sages leaving and now that you got a drastic transformation, right? Suppose we are also in our own way practicing Krishna consciousness in our limitations. Now, suppose you meet a friend of your friend after 25, 30 years before gap, or 20 years, big gap is there. They would have seen you playing around with them in the normal way, whatever, or just spending time with them. Suddenly, in the big gap, what happened that you got suddenly you became a devotee here, you became a killer, you are in Shika, you have this, you that, you dhoti, kurta, and all that. What happened to you? What is the big change that has happened? So they want to know curiosity. Out of curiosity, they want to know a story. If you are normally like any other person, nobody will ask you. Correct? If you just move around like any other person and no, they will just say, okay, how are you, everything that. But there is a big change that has happened, especially in our behavior. Well, they would want to ask seriousness and curiosity. They will ask. So that is how Vyasadeva, Narada triggered Vyasadev's curiosity by deliberately not telling about that part of his life which transformed him from that maidservant son to Narada. And Vyasadeva was intelligent enough to catch that point. He said, "No, I don't want to, just pass on. Your knowledge and all is fine, but the knowledge is meaningful to me only when it has some impact in my life, isn't it? So many books are there. Why we read and reread and reread Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam? Because it has created so much transformation in so many people's lives. If some book is not creating any transformation at all, just for a reading purpose, it's a reading material. How many times you would recommend that others or yourself will go and read, right? So the knowledge which we have or what we receive, if it has some big impact in our life, then people would want to know what is that knowledge. Well, not only knowledge, anything that happens in our life. Yes, right, correct. No, so far we are together in our agreement. Yes, definitely. If suppose Narada remained the same maidservant son, right? Nobody would have asked him. There is no change in the transformation in that person's status, right? If you continue to be the same, then there is no value of that knowledge. So because there is a huge transformation in that Narada Muni, not only that, unlike all others who don't remember their past lives, he remembers his past life. So that also is abnormal, right? Same way you see Gajendra remembering his past life, or Jadabharat Maharaj remembering his past life. Hmm? So those actually mean there is something which is so transcendent that the transcendental subject matter has created a huge impact in their life that they that they are that they want to know about it. They want to know. Oh, I also want to practice. So this is where exactly the chapter ended, and then how Vyasadeva started asking the questions. He is representing a perfect disciple. He's a perfect disciple of a perfect guru. So he doesn't want, and he doesn't want just for his own glorification. He wants to ask these questions for his guru's glorification. And so that not only me, but that's why here there's a beautiful thing. Where is that? He wants, where is that statement? He said that for everyone's benefit. Um, yes, in the verse 3, you see, so how he became so perfectly transformed into the spiritual body of eternal life, bliss and knowledge is certainly important. Sri Vyasadeva desired him to disclose the facts for everyone's satisfaction. Verse number 3. Who is calling? Yeah, that's the statement, right? Sri Vyasadeva desired him to disclose the facts for everyone's satisfaction. So we have a perfect disciple here who doesn't want to simply know out of curiosity for his own interest, filling his own curiosity, but to make everyone aware of the greatness of Narada. Right? So this is a very important point also. The duty of of a disciple is to make sure that every moment of his life is spent for revealing the glories of his spiritual master to the whole world for their satisfaction, not for his satisfaction. Many times we tell, my Guru Maharaj is great, my Guru Maharaj is, etc. But that is to satisfy my ego. But here, Vyasadeva is asking this question for everyone's well-being. Means everyone can get benefited by hearing about this rash religious story of Narada. How can someone who didn't have any facility at all, just by that knowledge alone, just whatever he gained from those sages, he became someone who can, he's so powerful that he can travel from anywhere to anywhere. He can remember everything about himself and about others also. He can read my mind. I didn't even tell him that I am despondent, but he came and he gave so much knowledge to me. So much. He revealed my own deficiencies also, and also about the knowledge of Bhagavatam. So there must be something amazing that would have happened in his life, that is, he is becoming such a great personality. So you see that these questions are all asked with that mood in place. And again, uh, the, everybody forgets what happened in the past life, but you are remembering this even now. You are remembering your past life. So if you are able to remember your past life, you should be able to understand what is in others' mind, what is others' past life, and everything can tell. So this is also again uh, 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 conclusion of Vyasadeva. So these are all very important to note. That normally we have a tendency to ask Prabhuji, what did you do? How did you come to Krishna consciousness? Normally we ask this question to anybody. But one thing if you notice, Narad Muni deliberately stopped in between, and then he went on to speak about Bhagavatam stories. Right? If Vyasadeva had not asked this question, he would not have bothered to tell about his past life, what happened. But normally, what happens when we are asked, we tell about every single tiny things that happens. But if you notice the difference, there will be a tinge of uh, an ego satisfaction in us when we explain about our journey in Krishna consciousness. May not be for some people, but for some people it might be there. And just telling, by and large, when we speak, the tendency is to keep ourselves in the center. The tendency to keep ourselves center will be much more. So that is why it may not be so much of an impact after some time. People may, whoever is asking, they will just hear, yes, they will be happy to hear about something, strange things happen. But then, because my motive of those sharing my past life is not centered around glorification of the greatness of our spiritual master and Krishna for everyone's well-being, it will not be as impactful as uh, Narad Muni's narration. If we have that same mood as Narad Muni's narration, then it will have an impact. Because Narad Muni's Vyasadev's question also is 100% pure, he didn't want to get a glorification for himself. He wanted to glorify Narad Muni for everyone's well-being. Narad Muni also didn't want to speak about himself for personal glorification. He wanted to glorify Krishna. That is why there is no urge in him to speak about his life unless and until it was asked. It was inquired. And in Vyasadeva also, there is on the other hand, Vyasadeva also, he had the eagerness to ask the question. He was very eager to ask the question, curious to ask the question. Okay. Now, any points? Any discussion points or questions?
Prabhuji,
Anytime we have questions, this has to be kept in mind that these questions should always be for the well-being of everyone else and not for our answers also, and not for one's own satisfaction of their ego. Sorry, Prabhu, Suresh Prabhu, you're saying something.
yes, asking questions after the class is very enlightening, and that shows that how we are attentive in the class and how much
Yeah.
we understood and where particularly we are missing that link. That's
Yeah.
what that it indicates, isn't it? So you also mentioned one shloka from Bhagavatam, that how it is asking question is purifying the asking person. The person who is asking is also purifying. You mentioned in one
Yes.
of the meetings. So that also
Yes.
you can just add to this.
Yes, Prabhu. Very no, very powerful point. It is done for our purification of our consciousness. That is also very important. Thank you so much, Prabhu. And Shivam Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. Prabhu, I mean, just by reading this purport, I was actually getting this thought like whether if we know about our past life, so maybe we can do something better in this life. So how we can actually explain this? Uh,
Yeah, actually, if we want to know our past life, this purification as it happens, naturally it will be revealed to us. You know, you see in Bhagavatam we have examples of Gajendra, we have examples of Jadabharat Maharaj who remember their past life. So that is, if you see this one important point, I was just reading that verse. Wait a minute. Um, where was that? Consciousness, remembering the consciousness is possible. The purification happens. Yes, in this purport, if you see 164, right? She, as spirit is not annihilated, Piyush Prabhu was saying something. Okay, he's talking about that shloka. Can just purifies the three worlds the same way. Krishna Katha, Vasudeva, Katha Prashna, Ushamti, Punati. That one I think is somebody is writing now. See, so if you see this, as spirit is not annihilated even after the annihilation of the material body, so also spiritual consciousness is not annihilated. Right? So this is the main answer to that question. Like if we are more and more and more getting closer to our spiritual consciousness, then we will be able to, Krishna will reveal to us. And Krishna also revealing to us, this is fully his desire. Right? If he wants, he will reveal it. If he doesn't want, he will not. So devotees are not so much worried about remembering their past life because they know past life. If if it is 100% pure life also, uh, what is it going to happen? It will only disappoint us. We will see that I was such a great personality, but I have come to this level, right? Or if your past is very bad, it's also not going to help much. So the revelation of our past life is not simply only by our purification of our consciousness, but satisfaction of Krishna based on that purity of our consciousness. Purification of our consciousness should be satisfying to Krishna. There are many people who does purification, but they are not doing it as a service to Krishna. We are also doing our purification of our consciousness, but our consciousness, we are not purifying our consciousness with the aim of pleasing Krishna. So anything that we do has to be done with this aim that it should be for the pleasure of Krishna. Does that help, Shivam Prabhu? Right? So whatever Bharat Maharaj did in his second life, third life, he was remembering because at the end of the day, Krishna was pleased with his endeavors. Even though it was a little bit missed out, but Sri Krishna was pleased that you have done this thing. So I want to give a chance for you. And secondly, there is no complaint there that, why did you do this to me? Why did you not allow me to go to Golokunda? Those kind of complaints were not there, right? So Krishna is pleased when we are satisfied and content with whatever we get from our life. Very important. Once Prabhupada was also asked about his previous life, Prabhupada said, if I tell you, you will fall unconscious. You will not be able to understand that. So, in all due respect, Prabhupada knew what he was, right? Because Nitya Siddha devotees, they come from the spiritual world. They remember what they are in their original Golokunda and whatever they are, wherever they are, right? So, there's nothing that stops them from remembering it. To that extent, Krishna wants them to remember, to that extent they will. Hmm? So here, that is why this line is very beautiful. Sri Narada developed the spiritual consciousness even when he had his material body in the previous kalpa. Consciousness of the material body means spiritual consciousness expressed through the medium of a material body. This consciousness is inferior, respectable, and perverted. Please understand this beautiful line. Now, whatever we are speaking is also through this body. As long as I'm conscious of this body, my consciousness is limited because I'm only conscious of this body. But when you are spirit, that's why Prabhupada is saying, but super consciousness of the supra mind, in spiritual mind, in the spiritual plane, is as good as the spirit soul and is never annihilated. So that consciousness of the supreme consciousness, super consciousness, spiritual consciousness is as good as the Atma only. It will never be annihilated. And this we gain by doing sincere devotional service. Pure devotional service when we do, our consciousness becomes purified. It's like that example of that coal basket. No? You know the story of that grandfather who was asking that grandson to, there's a coal basket. He asked him to go fetch the water from the river. So this boy went and fetched the water, and then he asked him to throw it out. Then again he asked him to fetch. Again he asked him to throw it out. Like that he went on doing, and at times the boy was really disturbed and he was frustrated. He said, "Why do you want to waste this thing? You don't want to do anything with it. What are you teaching me to do this?" And he says, "Now you see the basket, how it has become cleansed now by from the coal basket when initially it was so black in color, now it is so clean now, right? So the cleansing process, as it keep on happening, our mind also becomes purified. Our consciousness becomes purified. So it is no more limited to this body. You understand? The consciousness of the spirit soul is no more limited to this body. That is why they are able to appreciate the pains in the other's body also, the pains in the other's mind also, right? They are able to read others' mind, they are able to feel the other's pain. How are they able to? Because the super consciousness means you have become as good as the spirit soul. Sorry, super soul, right? That is why in the second chapter, when Suta Goswami starts off with the glorification of Sukadev Goswami, he says, what is that? Tam sarva bhuta hridayam munimana tosmi. You see, 1, 2, 2. Oh, sorry, 1, 2, 2. Yes. If you read that 1, 2, 2, the last line, Tam sarva bhuta hridayam munimana tosmi. He who has the capability to enter into the hearts of all living entities. Unto him I am paying my obeisances. So Sukadev Goswami is become so pure, so perfect in his consciousness, so spiritual, spiritual in his consciousness, that he does not confine to that body anymore. So he is able to appreciate the pains and pleasures of everyone, of all the atmas in all the bodies. See this translation. No, first line itself. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto that great sage Sukadev Goswami, who can enter the hearts of all. You understand that, Prabhu? That is the power of a spiritual master. So that's why they are able to read our mind. Prabhupada is able to read the mind. We read in Prabhupada's Maranam so many times, he reads the mind of his disciples. No? And then before even they could say anything, he speaks the answer to what they had in mind. Right? So they are able to do because of this point, like purification of their consciousness, so much perfection of their consciousness. Right? So it has become as good as the super soul, as good as the spirit soul, which is not confined to the material body. In fact, our forgetfulness is due to identifying ourselves with this material body. Bhagavatam says in one place, I forgot the verse, but in one of the verses it says, Bhagavatam. I will find out and share with you. Our forgetfulness of our past, our consciousness, our past lives, etc., is because of my identification that I am this so and so body. I am not anything other than this body. Right? The moment we come out of that consciousness, naturally, our consciousness will expand to cover everything else. Does that help?
Yes, Prabhuji, definitely. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Nice, beautiful question. Yes. Okay, so any other questions, comments before we move on? Arvind is going to start to speak now. Can continue? Okay, let's continue reading the next word. Narada Vacha. Who wants to start with Narada Vacha?
Shall I read, Prabhu?
Yeah, please.
Narada Uvacha Bhikshu Vivisite Vijnana Deshta Virmama Vartamano Vyasadhyate Tat Etad shama tad etat akar shama.
Akarasham.
Sri Narad said, the great sages who had imparted scientific knowledge of transcendence to me departed for other places, and I had to pass my life in this way.
Before
Purport.
we go to the purport, Prabhu, there is a beautiful word which is repeated both by Vyasadeva and Narad Muni. Same word. You would have identified it by now.
Yes, Prabhu. This the bhikshu.
No, Bhikshubir is one word, but another word is there. Third, second, and third.
Vipravasite, Prabhu.
Vipravasite. Yeah, but that is one word actually. What is that?
Vijnana.
विज्ञान
Vijnanadesh Tribir.
दृष्टि
Full word it is. Vijnanadesh Tribir. Right? If you split it, it is Vijnana and Adesh Tribir. Correct? So Vijnana means we know scientific spiritual knowledge or practical spiritual knowledge. The knowledge that which has to be practiced. And Adesh Tribhi means ordering. Adesh, we say na. इन्होंने मुझे आदेश दिया. Right? So they imparted unto me means they ordered me to do. So it implies, essentially it implies that the knowledge that was given to me was ordered. They ordered me to practice it every day. So knowledge that is only here is of no use. When it is practiced, that knowledge gets converted into realization and it moves from here to here. Unless and until that knowledge is transformed into realization, it is of no use. And that happens by following the orders of the spiritual master. So in effect, the implicit statement here is that whatever knowledge that is given to us by our spiritual masters is to be practiced. It's an order. There is no question of, like I'm saying, uh, the spiritual master may say, if you fish like you can follow, but then the real message the student, the disciple takes this is, it's an adesh. I will have to follow the adesh. That's all. It's very important. If you don't take it as an order on my head, that I have to take it as the order for my life, it's not possible to become like how Narad Muni. Narad Muni's success is represented in these two words, Vijnana and Adesh. The knowledge that was given to them is a practical knowledge, that is Vijnana, and they ordered him to do and he followed it. So he's following his the rest of his life. He takes it as his life's mission. Whatever they told him, whatever method they taught him, devotional service, he just started following. And that is so beautifully going to come through. It's not simply sitting and meditating. That path is not, that is not the order. That is not the only thing that they taught him. You will realize what all things he taught him by just by how he is going to explain the incidents in his life. So in our life also, one side is of course our chanting, our reading, etc. would be like our it may be the way we are, that is a sadhana. But that has to reflect in our character also in how we react to the situations in life, how we are uh, basically how we approach, how we face the situations in life. Hmm. So, okay, now this purport has to be read, right? So, can we read this purport?
In his previous life, when Narada was uh, impregnated with spiritual knowledge, by the grace of the great sages, there was a tangible change in his life, although he was only a boy of 5 years.
So now here the word impregnated is a beautiful word, right? Impregnated means uh, it's something which is very interesting, and this is what is ideally supposed to happen when we are blessed by the mercy of the spiritual master, right? That is what this Adesh actually means. I'm giving you this Adesh, Vijnana, and this is my Adesh that you have to follow, right? So that is the actual impregnation. Like, when a man impregnates a woman, uh, after that, neither the man nor the woman uh, can do anything about it. In other words, the child automatically grows, right? And when the time comes, it comes out. Ideally speaking, whatever care, other things that we may do, but eventually for those who don't care, also the child is born, right? In poor people's home and all, they don't have money for scanning and this and the nutrition and all that. But still the child is born, isn't it? So the word impregnation is a beautiful word that Prabhupada always uses in a very specifically in particular places. Impregnation actually means a live symptom. Live symptom itself means spiritual spirit soul is there. In other words, the knowledge is live. The knowledge has its capacity to grow or transform into something. Suppose the table is there, right? This table will remain the same table if for 1,000 years also if I just keep it this way and without anything. How much ever water you pour on it or sunlight you give on it, it will not grow, right? But a child grows on its own, like simply just by eating some food, khichdi, whatever, it grows on its own. Why? Because there is Atma inside. Correct. So that Atma is impregnated in it. As long as it is there, it will grow and adjust to the situation accordingly. Right? Suppose if you take the child through the door and the roof is hitting the child, then automatically child or whoever it is, they will bend down because they know that there is a thing to hit. It will hit means it will pain. But if you take the same table through the door, will it bend down or will shrink itself when the size is not fitting? No, right? So that is the idea. This is the impregnation actually means that that knowledge is helping us adjust or transform ourselves to according to the situation, and so that the progress is not inhibited or it is not obstructed. Progress in our spiritual life. This Adesh to be here and impregnation is a beautiful connection there. Then we simply follow that. Just let the Adesh into our system and start following it in implicitly. When we start following the Guru's order, then naturally the purification happens, the progress happens in our life. That is why it is impregnated with spiritual knowledge. And that impregnation is what makes him aware of the consciousness beyond that body also. Because he is no more that body. The spirit soul is the cause of the body's being active. Actually, the body is dead. Spirit soul is what is making the body active or making the body look active, right? But the spirit soul doesn't realize that I am this body. It is the false ego. The spirit soul doesn't feel that I am this body. It is a false ego and the mind that is making us feel like this. So when we are moving from this normal mind to supra mind with the super consciousness, then we will cross that limitation that I am not this body anymore. So when I see another person suffering, I say, hey, it's not different from me. The pain in me will be the same as what is the pain in that person. So let me go and help that person. This is how we feel everybody's pain, right? Or you are able to see everybody as spirit soul. They are confined into this material body and they are suffering. That should not happen. So this is a very important point that we have to focus here. That impregnation with spiritual knowledge will lead to tangible transformation in our life. Right? When we follow that order. If we don't follow the orders, if we just casually leave it alone, then the transformation will not happen. We all will take our initiations, but there is no realization of our uh, uh, consciousness that I am not this body, I am a servant of Krishna. Those things we are not realizing enough. Why? Because that Adesh is not taken seriously. Adesh of Prabhupada, Adesh of our spiritual master is not taken so seriously. So it is not a fair thing. But Narada Muni, he took it seriously. So in the behavior also it is reflecting, in his transformation also, in his outward transformation also it is reflecting. Right? So let's see the remaining part of this purport.
This is an important symptom visible after initiation by the bona fide spiritual master.
It's very important. I can tell after I am like initiated disciple for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, so many things we can say. But the symptom, what Prabhupada is telling here, that this
Yes.
important symptom visible after initiation by the bona fide spiritual master, how you approach the situations in life, how you perceive this world, how you perceive the entities, living entities or non sentient or non-sentient beings. How do you see them? In what consciousness you see them? I remember in one of the lectures recently I was like listening to Mahavishnu Maharaj, Mahavishnu Maharaj was explaining something. He didn't say anything much really, but one statement he made was very, very beautiful statement. And he just made the statement and he moved on to the topic, other that explaining the topic. But that statement is a very impactful topic. What is that he said is that everything around us speaks to us. It's a very, very deep message. Everything around us speaks to us. You know, it's something which is very important to note and appreciate. Suppose I am seeing something around here. It's not only the human beings that speak to us. Everything around us speak to us. Suppose I have a dirty cloth on the floor. Actually, it is speaking to me that I'm supposed to be washed. Come on, you take and put it in the cloths and wash it. Or if something is just scattered here and there, it will say, you have to order this. How it will say, how it will be reflected in our speaking, our mind will be disturbed. Every time we see that thing, it will disturb our mind. Like say, for example, a child is crying. Child will say, I want water, I am feeling hungry, I want food, I am hungry. So you may be busy with something. The child has the voice to speak. So when it keeps crying, what will happen? We will be disturbed, right? I'm coming. Why are you speaking? Making noise. I'm coming. Like that you say, no? Or you tell somebody, please, take her somewhere. I'm very busy with something. Like something will react. Or I have to go and give food. I forgot. So go on there. The child has the voice to speak, which we understand that he understands that language. So we are able to immediately understand. But then for those who have the spiritual consciousness, they will see that everything around them is speaking to them. The crushed cloth, which is 30 cloths put around somewhere without any uh, uh, care for, that is actually speaking. I may not hear its language, but my mind will hear its language. That is why it is disturbed. Right? Water bottle will be here. Right? When I am hungry, when I am looking around, the bottle will say, "I am here. Come on, take me and drink." That is why I am drinking. Otherwise, I will not even see the water bottle nearby. I am not able to hear it speaking. So everything around us speaks to us, and our mind hears that language. So that language may not be understandable to our ears, as is our thing, but mind understands that language. Very deep message it is. So people who are moving around, they are also speaking. They are speaking in a certain way which will disturb our consciousness. Are speaking or acting, they are moving around. That moving is a speech. Somebody just lying down on the floor when we are on the street, when I am walking, he is speaking something to me. My mind will be, according to my mind, I will understand that language. See, if I'm just going, hey, what is this nuisance? So to me, he is speaking that I am a nuisance. Hmm? Another person may walk around, hey, something must have happened to him. Let me go and help him, give some water or see if he's conscious. So to him, to his mind, he is speaking this different thing. You understand what I think about? Do you get that connection there? So the same person
Yeah.
speaking one thing will speak different things to different people according to the capacity that they can grab the message. Sorry, somebody was
Yes,
raising their hand.
Prabhu, I was like, is it? Can we say that is this like vibration that we get vibes from other
Yes,
people? Is
yes,
that
yes.
same?
He said that it's the same thing in a different language. That there's a different vibration from different people. Like that, you say, no, that is more or less the what they are speaking to us. Vibration means you're getting some message from there, right? Right? That we say that Morse code, the telegram thing, and those are some ways of relating to relaying the message in different ways, isn't it? They found some ways like that. The vibration is even more subtle messages given to us. Hmm? Sarojini Mataji, you see, be having some question.
Prabhuji, is it also like how we perceive from our mind that by seeing things around, that is how it is like
To the
you
capacity
said
that you have.
everything.
That's what I gave the example of two people walking along, and some one person is lying down on the side on the street. My mind, that many things they can communicate, right? He may communicate that I need water, or that he may not ask physically, but that his position might communicate something to us. That's when my mind will grab that message. See, it's like radio. So many different waves are there now. So there are many messages that are transferred at the same time. You tune according to say this much you have 92.5, 98.6, etc., whatever FM. You tune to that wavelength and you get that message, isn't it? That reception, whatever we are getting. So that way we will get whichever way you are tuned. But to the extent we are pure, to that extent we will be able to hear the most important thing that person so entity needs from us, what they are speaking to us.
So is it? It depends on the consciousness of the individual being, how they
Yeah,
perceive
yeah.
that.
Yeah, like many times Maharaj used to say this very nicely that people, they have this habit of telling that I have a headache when they have actually stomachache. We all are like that. We will have one problem, but we will tell something else to the doctor and the spiritual master. So Maharaj said, that's why, like, I may be communicating something, but their vibration or but their spiritual purity, they will know what exactly my problem is, what I am speaking to them, what my mind is speaking to them, or what my face is speaking to them. So they say, Maharaj will say, your face reveals everything to me. You need not tell anything. But from your face, I can identify what all is there in your mind. What is disturbing you? You may think that I have stomach pain, but actual problem is somewhere else. That I know, but you don't know. That's why he's a doctor and we are the patient.
That is why spiritual masters also were able to see through the soul. Like in many times
Yeah,
we read in the Prabhupada's pastimes and all disciples were saying that I feel naked when Prabhupada sees, he sees inside everything
yeah,
inside me.
yeah,
Like they
yeah,
also feel.
yeah, yeah. That's why, they will say, Prabhupada saw through me, cut through my, all the dirts in my, all those dirts are stopping our consciousness from seeing the real thing, our real consciousness. This mind has all these anarthas, we are not removing them. So the thing is not fully, it is not able to visible. The glow or the purity is not fully visible. Mm. Thank you, Suresh Prabhu, for sharing that Prana Parishas Shloka. Mm. Um, yeah, who is saying this? Srivitya Master is saying this, that yeah, this is why Mahatma Maharaj always used to say that even if it is some material object, you should treat it with respect. Many times we say slippers also, we just kick it, we throw it, or dresses, we just throw it in the corner in the dustbin. Or dustbin also, we just kick it, or we don't want to carry it. Put the dust. For putting the dust, you are doing the dustbin. But when you want to throw the dustbin outside, we don't want to carry it. We want someone else to do it. All these are the reason why we are not able to understand the supra consciousness. We are not able to exhibit that supra mind, super consciousness. We don't see Krishna everywhere, isn't it? Thank you for that. For reminding that. And the next comes a very important few lines. So this is exactly that is the important system. Is a symptom visible after initiation by the bona fide spiritual master. See, this is a very beautiful, very serious, very important subject matter for us all to know, because pretty much every one of us, either at heart or maybe physically, we have all been initiated by our spiritual masters, right? For those who are about to be, that is also there. And those who have taken the spiritual name, that is also, both are, there is no difference. At heart, we are considering somebody as our spiritual master, they are spiritual master. The other thing is just a formality, anyway, getting a name or whatever that is. So it is important to see this transformation visible in our personality more than just the names. Names we can get, that is there, of course. But that names you are getting, it is expected to, whatever the diksha that the spiritual master is giving, it is expected to create the transformation in us. What is a transformation? If you want to know what is a transformation, you have to go to 4.35 Bhagavad Gita. Who is reading this? Rajesh is the one who is sharing this one. Maybe if you open another window and get down 4.35, that will reveal to us what exactly the transformation should happen. What transformation is supposed to happen. Yajñātvāna punarmoham evam yasyasi pandava yena bhutani asheshani drakshasi atmani adhomayi. If you read the translation, anybody can read this translation?
I will read.
Having obtained real knowledge from a self-realized soul, you will never fall again into such illusion. For by this knowledge, you will see that all living beings are but part of the Supreme, or in other words, that they are mine.
So this is the Maharaj said, this is the effect that is expected after taking shelter of a self-realized soul. Having after getting the Tattvadarshi, the previous shloka is nothing but our shloka, no? The three things what we have to do. Tadviti pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam. You all know the shloka. What is that shloka? Jnaninas tattadarshinaha. Right? Tadviti pranipatena. So you have to obtain that knowledge by doing these three things. What is that? Pranipat, surrender humbly, pariprashnena, inquire submissively, and seva, do seva. With these three things, upadekshanti, they do that upadesh. Take the jnana. Who is that who do tattvadarshi? Who have seen the truth, who have seen Krishna, right? Who have seen tattvadarshi, they will give that knowledge to us. But this is the qualification of the disciple to receive the knowledge, right? Receive the diksha. Basically, knowledge is dikshanti. Upadekshanti means the diksha. They will initiate. Diksha, upadekshanti. Diksha. Now you come to the next sloka. This is the this sloka explains what happens after receiving that knowledge. What is the transformation that is supposed to happen? You are supposed to see everyone as part and parcel of Krishna, and never again go back to the illusion. This is the effect of Adesh to be, Vijnana Adesh to be. When we follow that order as take it on your head and follow that order, this is the beauty of it. This is the way to obtain, this is the effect of obtaining the real knowledge and following the instructions seriously. But you will never ever fall again into illusion that I am this body, everybody else is their body. But what will you do? By this knowledge, you will see that all the living beings are my part and parcel. You will treat everybody as Krishna's energy, Krishna's part and parcel. That's the ultimate transformation of someone taking Diksha from a bona fide spiritual master, bona fide self-realization. Okay? So let's get back to our Bhagavatam here. We have 3 more lines to read. I think Shivam Prabhu was reading, correct, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu.
Please read the next 2 lines. These are another 2 beautiful lines coming up.
Actual association of devotees brings about a quick change in life for spiritual realization. How it is so acted upon the previous life of Sri Narada Muni is described by in this chapter.
So this is the effect of actual association of devotees. The whole example of this Narada Muni's previous life is to explain the importance of association of devotees and the result of following the orders of the spiritual master immaculately, without any doubt. So, any questions? Till now, we'll stop and then we'll continue in our next session. He is going to start explaining his story from next verse onwards. It's a nice logical point. Any questions, comments until now?
I just want to share that comparison about the disciples not following spiritual master seriously. Today in the morning session, Radhesham Prabhu shared that episode.
Yes,
it is about,
very
it
important.
is about that Bhaktivinoda Thakur praying to the Lord that I am your dog. You treat me, I am your dog, and I want to follow you, and I will take care of your premises, and I will be your servant and surrender to you. Like so, and there's one. He is a sanat. He has a master.
Prabhupada, right, sir. We read that in our Juhu story book, if you remember. Prabhupada, when he was walking in the Juhu beach, he showed some dogs and he told that to give Raj Maharaj. Yeah.
That we discussed. There were only 2 dogs. One is Sanat, the other is street dog, which is Anath. Today, Radhesham Prabhu added there is 3rd dog also.
Who?
Radhesham Prabhu today in the morning class.
Okay. 3rd dog. What is that?
3rd dog. The 3rd dog is that it has heard about the spirituality and he comes to the door of the spiritual master. The temple of the spiritual ashram comes there and he listens that. But he not surrendering. He is not coming inside and surrendering to the spiritual master. Because he want to just taste this and he want to again taste the material world also. He want to have freedom, he want to enjoy, and at the same time he want to give some time for the spirituality. So that is the 3rd dog, you say.
In between dog. Nice realization from this really. True, you come up to the door of the spiritual world, don't want to surrender, So Salat means that's not simply having a master. Surrender also is needed, right? If you are not surrendering to the master, then what's the point?
He likes to listen to that, but he doesn't want to totally surrender.
Practice it.
You want to enjoy that.
Eventually, that is also in one way. Anything else? Thank you, Prabhu, for that beautiful third dog example. Anyone else? I'm not. I think Shivam Prabhu is talking on mute.
No, Prabhu. I think it's fine.
Okay, that looked
Thank
like
you.
you were talking. Anyone else have any nice realizations also or questions?
Prabhu, if
Hare
we
Krishna,
have so
Prabhuji.
much material desires, that devotional service, we can't, they can't go hand in hand, no? So much material desires which we have. Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji. So, yeah, okay. Your question is if we have so much material desires, then we won't be able to progress.
Progress,
Isn't
like
it?
serious as Narada Muni. We have to be serious, no,
Yeah,
in devotional service.
yeah, very true. And that is what the third dog that Prabhuji was telling. He's not surrendering to the spiritual master even after attaining his shelter, is because he has this material desire still. He doesn't. He has an atha, but he doesn't want to come. If there is most unfortunate is that only anatha at least will somehow come, but this sanatha one not accepting the natha is most unfortunate. You're right. But this material desires go eventually if we sincerely try in little limited amount. See, suppose a spiritual master is giving 10 instructions. Initially you may not be able to follow all the 10 instructions. You may follow one or two. But that one or two also, if you sincerely try, by the power of the spiritual potential of the spiritual master, you will gain the strength to follow the rest. Got it? But that one or two at least we should do follow strictly. Right? He may tell 10 different instructions, and he's not expecting him to do all of them. But by following one itself, he can still peacefully satisfy the spiritual master. So Prabhupada said so many different instructions. Vishnu Chandra Maharaj, for example, he will only do Kirtana and preaching. He will never get into collection, you will never get into management, you will never get into administering, organizing, and all those things. When somebody went and complained to Prabhupada that Prabhupada is Vishnu Chan is doing kirtans only, he's not doing anything else. Then Prabhupada said, with that service only, he will go back to Vrindavan, Vrindavan. There's no need to worry about anything else. That is a spiritual master's pleasure. He's pleased with what you are doing. There's nothing more to worry about. We should not go and tell that, hey, you are not doing this thing of our spiritual master. You are not perfect. We are not order. We are not in any way inspector general to inspect someone else. Right? So that's true. So eventually it will happen, Mataji. Material desires are always there in everybody. You cannot avoid that. And moreover, in fact, it is very artificial if you claim or you try to do this in an artificial way that somehow or other I want to get rid of this material desires. That is also not accepted. That's not the right way. Frankly speaking, if we honestly accept our material desires to our spiritual master present, this is what my state is. What please tell me how I can improve or rectify the situation. Then the spiritual master's instruction, along with the instruction, the power to follow that instruction also will come. That depends on the extent we are submissive and not proud and all. That is how it will automatically come. So there's nothing to worry about when we have material desires, but revealing it honestly to the spiritual master, it helps. Suresh was saying, so still we have, let us use in service of Guru and not right. That is very important. Yeah. Shivam Prabhu, you are raising your hand.
Yes, Prabhu. Well, I had just one question. Like you mentioned, like should be, a devotee should be surrendered towards his guru.
Sorry,
This should be
Prabhu.
the quality. Surrender should be the quality of a disciple.
Uh-huh.
right? So I mean, I just wanted to know, like, the surrender quality should come before the initiation, or it should come after the initiation? I mean, how he should maintain, like, okay, now I feel surrendered, then I should take the initiation, or this quality comes after the initiation when he takes the instructions or initiation from the from the guru.
See, it is best when it comes before initiation, but it should come at least after initiation. Better late than never. Ideally speaking, before the Guru gives the initiation, you should be surrendered. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was surrendered even before Gaur Krishna Das Babaji initiated him, the initiation. So the moment you are surrendered, the initiation thing started already. The acceptance of the spiritual master, the acceptance of the disciple by the spiritual master is already started. But sometimes what happens is we may not know the greatness of the spiritual master because of, say, whatever reason. We might not have read. We just come here, and also Prabhupada in the process, yes, little bit reduce the strictness of the Diksha thing, because Kali Yuga, people don't have so much patience, and they may not have the all the qualifications. As spiritual master, we have to take the overload. So he had done that by his purity, right? So because of which people may not even know what is Wisdom, they will get their names easily, and then they will be thinking about slowly people will tell one by one, you have to give up tea and coffee, you have to give up this, that, etc. Then they will say, oh, kahan fasa diya mujhe, right? People will start thinking like that. So sometimes it happens like that. But by and large, it is better to let the person know what it is important, what is to be done, and then they start following the instruction as given by the spiritual master. So, but at least we should follow after the initiation that the importance of the process, what exactly to be done. There are many devotees who are sincere. I've seen they are like, until the point of initiation, they don't know anything. But after initiation, because of their sincerity, they become such great personalities. They are not only, I'm not talking about some panditya or some, greatness in their, I'm not talking from that perspective alone. But the way they approach the life, the way their transformation happens in how they see this world, how they face the situations in this world, react to the situation. So that's all totally transformed, completely transformed on the spiritual side. And they're not scholars, they are not big well-read people and all. It's the beauty of our the initiation. It's like turning the iron into gold. It's said in one of the slokas, Rupa Krishna is saying that. Like Suresh Prabhu is ideally as well as beautiful thing. Ideal surrender to spiritual master said by Sanatan Goswami in Chaitanya Charitamrita. If you see how he approaches Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Kenami, he says that now, who am I? Can Jara Tapatra, he says, I don't know why I'm getting all these birthday, old age disease, and how these three miseries are affecting me, why it is affecting me, and I don't know who I am. People call me Pandita, but I don't know all these basic things also, and I am also thinking I'm a Pandit. So please educate me in this knowledge and then give me the your mercy, right? This is how ideally we should ask the question and surrender to the spiritual master and get the knowledge and then practice it. But not everybody will have the same capacity. So we may be inspired by people like Sanatan Goswami, Narada Muni, etc. And then you will realize it. Narada Muni did not ask any question to them. They bestowed this whole thing because he was not aware of anything. But the spiritual master can transform and even a normal iron piece into gold by their mercy. And this is the best example. Narada is the best example of the potency of the spiritual master, and when the disciple is so much surrendered. Kamalini Mataji, yes, Taji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
This was
Yes.
435. After receiving the knowledge, ultimate transformation, so that we think that all living entities are mine. It is such a profound statement, Prabhuji.
Yeah,
Sometimes I can't even think People around me
Actually,
are mine.
yeah, actually, this is, he's saying, Yajñatana Puranbhavam Evam Yasyasi Pandava Yena Bhutani Asheshani Drakshasi. You are seeing Atmani, Ato Mayi, they are all mine. How Krishna is telling they are mine. It's very amazing. And actually, this verse Maharaj quoted, Maharaj quoted this verse, and he said that this verse is a test of the spiritual master also. He said that if a spiritual master is really bona fide or not is tested by how much the disciple is transformed by his diksha, by his knowledge, by receiving the knowledge from him. So
Oh my
Maharaj
God.
said in his initiation ceremony, one of the initiation ceremonies, he told this that 434 it nourishes my pride. He said he told my pride means he said I am being a spiritual master it nourishes my pride because you have to be pranipat, you should be pariprashna, you should do seva, and I will think I may think that I am a Tattvadarshi. I may think that hey, you have to do all these things. I am going to give you initiation. You are my servant now. You are my disciple now. You have to listen to whatever I say. I can tell all these things. But when he said, when I come to this 435, I start shaking, he said. With all humility, he said that. Because the first one nourishes my pride, but the second one tests my purity.
Yes,
How pure I am is tested by how much the disciple is transformed. Yes, these spiritual masters have so much great responsibility. We don't realize that. It's not just that I've given you so and so Dasa, Dasi name, and now you are my whatever I am doing, whatever you are doing, it should be under me. That is not the way. The transformation happens by he has to give the transcendental knowledge. The disciple should be have a so clean a slate that he should receive the whole thing fully. How Narada Muni received from the sages, or Sanatana Goswami received from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, right? Or Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur received from Prabhupada, Prabhupada received from Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur. That order they kept it on their head as a lifetime mission. That is the patra. That is the in which they can receive all the costless mercy of the spiritual master. If you have already filled this, our vessel is already filled. Whatever mercy that the spiritual master is pouring, it will just overflow. That's all. So we should go with a completely clean state that I am empty, I am a dumb, number one, like how the Sanatana Goswami went. Now, because of that quality, see how much Sanatana Goswami is glorified. Anytime you remember Radha Madan Mohan, by default you remember Sanatana Goswami. Right? And Guru Purnima, for example, tomorrow is Guru Purnima, right?
Yes,
And Guru Purnima is glory it's for the glorification of Sri Sanatana Goswami. It is actually his disappearance day, right? I don't know, disappearance or appearance, I'm a bit confused, but then anyway, it's his day. But for his day, appearance day, or this thing, the whole world is celebrating it as Guru Purnima. What an amazing thing! So this is the beauty. Actually speaking, he is the best disciple. So we should have celebrated disciple Purnima. But because he was the best disciple, he also became the best guru, and so he did celebrate his Guru Purnima. So Maharaj always said this, that we are not guru succession, we are disciplic succession. Prabhupada named is so perfectly. It's not, it's disciplic succession. Unless we are a perfect disciple, we cannot be a perfect guru. That is the idea. That is the point. Right? We'll stop here. Time is also the essence.
Thank you,
We have other programs coming up. Thank you so much, Professor Mataji. By the way, tomorrow evening we will continue with Prabhupada's Maranam. So Krishna willing, like to see whoever is available because we missed a few. We'll continue from where we left yesterday. Right? So thank you so much, Professor Mataji. Hare Krishna. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Vaishnava ki jai.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Vaishnava Javanam. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
We'll see you all tomorrow. Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.